This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello and greetings. I'm Edo Masai, your presenter for this hour's news. We'll be sharing stories from throughout the continent, so stay with us for the latest updates. Dr. Eliud Moi, Deputy Director of Kenya's KIPRA, called for a bold rethink of Africa's position in global decision-making and the dismantling of colonial-era mindsets that continue to marginalize the continent. In an interview with Pulse of Africa, Moi criticized institutions such as the IMF, World Bank, and UN bodies for historically excluding African voices. He said Africa remains largely absent from the rooms where high-stakes decisions affecting the continent are made, and argued that Africans must be fully included in global governance. He stressed that internal barriers, such as the lingering psychological effects of colonialism, continue to hinder Africa's empowerment. Many Africans still view others as superior, he said, and this mindset must be overcome. Moi also highlighted Africa's demographic advantage, noting the continent's large youth population and growing labor force, which can drive global economic growth. He cited African innovations such as Kenya's mobile money platform, M-Pesa, as examples of how African solutions are shaping global finance. He criticized reliance on foreign currencies for intra-African trade and the impact of sovereign credit ratings that make it harder and more expensive for African countries to access international financing. The Southern Africa Agricultural Initiative, SAAI, recently brought together farmers from across the globe, convening the G20 Farmers Dialogue. The discussions at the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences in Stellenbosch University aim to forge a path towards a farmers' declaration for the upcoming G20 Heads of State Summit in Johannesburg in November. SAAI said that the event attracted delegates and digital participants from Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, ensuring that the authentic voice of farmers was represented in global policy debates. SAAI added that the dialogue focused on four central themes: family farming, digitalization, innovation in AI, livestock and proteins, and trade and food security. A.J. Tembu, president of the African Farmers Association of South Africa, AFASA, said that family farmers form the basis of food sovereignty. If we lose them, we risk food insecurity on a global scale. Technology must serve to strengthen, not replace, the foundation of family farming. Keith Curry, president of the Canadian Federation of Agriculture, said that the importance of technology and AI was crucial for farmers. But we need governments to ensure transparency and integrity so that farmers' data is not misused and their independence is safeguarded, Curry said.
Voice of Africa. Voice of Africa.
The West African Development Bank, BOAD, has approved $32 million loan to support Togo's efforts to accelerate agricultural mechanization and irrigation. The announcement followed the bank's 148th Ordinary Board session held on October 9, 2025 in Lomé. The new funding targets the first phase of the Agricultural Mechanization and Irrigation Support Program, a government-led initiative designed to modernize farming practices, strengthen food security, and raise farmers' incomes. The program will provide modern equipment to regional centers for agricultural mechanization, CRMA, which currently operate in Kara and Kapalime. These centers, launched in 2023, serve as technical hubs for training, maintenance, and advisory services for smallholder farmers. The BOAD financing will also allow the government to expand CRMA operations to other regions with expected gains in agricultural productivity and rural employability. According to the Regional Development Bank, the initiative will help farmers better utilize mechanization technologies and ensure sustainable management of agricultural equipment. BOAD said the operation fits within its Tijoliba strategic plan, which prioritizes the financing of productive infrastructure and the economic transformation of member states with the West African Economic and Monetary Union, WAEMU. BOAD also recalled its €1 billion bond issuance earlier this year, aimed at scaling up funding for regional development projects. Mozambique has set a goal to ensure that all citizens have access to clean drinking water by 2029, officials said. Minister of Public Works, Housing and Water Resources, Fernando Rafael, said the government is prioritizing both rural and urban areas, as well as vulnerable groups, to accelerate universal water and sanitation services. Water and sanitation are the most visible and demanded services by citizens. We are called to provide quick and effective responses, Rafael said, noting that the government is pursuing a step-by-step approach to reduce disparities in service delivery. Under the government's 5-year plan, 154 new water supply systems will be constructed nationwide. By 2029, 133,000 new household connections are expected alongside the construction and rehabilitation of 3 water treatment plants, including 2 for wastewater in Beira and Quilliamane and 1 for fecal sludge in Tete. The plan also includes over 6,000 sewer connections, 680 public latrines, and the rehabilitation of Beira's drainage and coastal protection system. These measures are expected to increase national water coverage from 62% to 68%, benefiting more than 5 million people, while sanitation coverage will rise from 37% to 47.7%, reaching an additional 5.6 million citizens. Rafael emphasized that water is central to life, the economy, and the environment, calling it a driver of development and hope for Mozambicans. The government's push builds on progress made under former President Filipe Nyusi, who increased access to clean water from 51% in 2015 to 63.6% in 2024, benefiting about 20 million people through initiatives such as the Water for Life program. Mali has announced that U.S. nationals visiting the West African country will be required to post a bond of up to $10,000, which is equivalent to €7,500 for business and tourist visas, in response to a similar requirement the Trump administration has imposed on its citizens. The U.S. Embassy in Mali said on Friday the fee had been introduced to reinforce Washington's commitment to protecting America's borders and safeguarding U.S. national security. Mali's foreign ministry said on Sunday the bond had been imposed unilaterally, and it had decided to establish an identical visa program for U.S. citizens. The visa policy shift comes despite moves to improve diplomatic relations between the two countries. In July, U.S. officials visited Mali to discuss counterterrorism, cooperation, and economic partnerships, including potential access to Mali's gold and lithium reserves.
POA, the Pulse of Africa.
I would like you to follow POA, the Voice of Africa.
This is the face and the voice of Africa. We want you to watch this all the time.
The Voice of Africa. Stick with it. You will see Africa, how it will change for the better.
This is Africa, the cradle of humanity, the frontier of the future, a land of visionaries, creators and pioneers, a continent of unstoppable energy where innovation meets tradition, where voices rise loud and fearless.
I am an African.
This is the heartbeat of 1 billion people, diverse, bold, united by a single purpose to tell our own stories in our own way. No borders, no barriers, no filters. A new era of African storytelling is here. From every corner of the continent, from the bustling cities to the quiet villages, we tell Africa's story by Africans for the world. This is the land of a rising Africa, where Africa speaks and the world listens. This is why today we bring you POA, Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Now to business news. Nigeria generated $46.9 billion in oil and gas revenue between 2021 and 2022, according to the latest report by the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NEITI. The breakdown shows $23.04 billion earned in 2021 and $23.05 billion in 2022. However, NEITI revealed that companies and government agencies still owe the Federation about 1.5 trillion naira, funds that could have supported energy and healthcare services. NEITI Executive Secretary Dr. Ogobon Naya Orji said the country also lost about 13.5 million barrels of crude oil worth $3.3 billion to theft and pipeline vandalism between 2023 and 2024. He noted that such losses could have funded Nigeria's entire health budget or powered millions of homes. Orji emphasized that transparency is vital for a sustainable energy future. He said NEITI is working to ensure every barrel of crude oil is properly accounted for, adding that secrecy in the value chain remains a challenge. NEITI has evolved from an auditing body into a governance reform institution, conducting regular audits, tracking payments, and disclosing the real owners of over 4,800 extractive assets. The agency is also collaborating with NUPRC, NMDPRA to improve transparency in licensing and community trust management while promoting a fair and transparent energy transition. That's all for the hour. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more updates. Goodbye.